Beanie Babies were once one of the most sought-after toys in the world.
We could be millionaires!
Yeah, it could be our college money.
A trading frenzy in the 90s saw $5 toys resell for thousands of dollars.
You just have to have a lot of patience and money.
But the bubble, inflated by their mysterious inventor, burst in spectacular fashion, leaving collectors with piles of almost worthless animals. So what happened? How did a cute beanbag go from internet sensation to neglected keepsake? This is Ty Warner, who back in the 90s was the Willy Wonka of toys. He founded Ty Inc. in 1986, just outside of Chicago, and his first creation was a lifelike cat stuffed with beans. Joni Hirsch Blackman was one of the only journalists to ever interview Warner. As she recalls, his sales methods were quite eccentric.
He would walk in holding this cat in his arms, and when people thought it was real, then he knew he had done what he had hoped to do.
Ty then experimented with smaller animals, less lifelike but with plush material, vibrant colors, and loosely stuffed to make them easy to handle. In '93, Warner released his first 9 Beanie Babies. Lena Trivedi joined the company in 1992 and would often give Warner creative input.
He was sort of trying to contemplate in his own design and creative process, should these eyes be green or should they be blue? What do you think?
With a price tag of just $5, Warner hoped that the toys would have wide appeal. But Beanie Babies were far from an instant hit.
There were a lot of people that were just like, no, I don't want those. Those won't work in my store.
That didn't stop Warner from innovating, though. He would constantly tweak designs, colors, and names, even after animals were already in circulation. By creating variations and even halting production of some animals altogether, what Ty was actually doing was laying the groundwork for a market of rare collectibles. Only a few thousand of the original Peanut the Elephant were made before the updated version hit the shelves.
Then all of a sudden, those dark blue elephants are worth thousands and thousands of dollars because they're not available and there's only a handful of them that are in the marketplace.
He's just taken off and he's over $5,000 now.
Isn't that cute? What would you rather have, a new car or Peanut the Elephant?
Ty's financial records have never been made public, but according to author Zach Bissonnette's book, The Great Beanie Baby Bubble, in 1995, the company generated sales of around $28 million. By then, there were over 50 different Beanie Babies.
There are zoo animals, farm animals, cats, dogs, bears, and they are very, very, very cute.
And thanks to a new innovation in computer networks, the Beanie Baby craze was about to go digital. Lucky for Warner, Trivedi and her brother, who also worked at Ty, had taken an early interest in the internet and convinced him to go online.
The website creation process took a little time because at the same time I was learning what the internet was.
Trivedi is credited with developing the first business-to-consumer website at a time when only 14% of US adults had internet access.
The internet turned Beanie Babies into the hot commodity trade of the late 90s.
To prepare for high Easter demand in 1995, Ty filled 3 747s with stuffed toys from Korea, where they were manufactured. And later that holiday season, the company's warehouse in Illinois shipped 15,000 orders daily to retailers across the US. Warner became a master at manipulating the market. Every 6 months, he would retire beanies from the product line. Sometimes he chose to discontinue the lowest selling animals to boost interest, and then get rid of inventory. Or he'd target one with an already scarce supply to create a buying scramble.
A lot of times it would be hours and hours that people would spend driving around looking for a specific Beanie Baby.
Shop owners referred to shipment days as mob scenes, where customers would buy more than 50 beanies at a time. Warner achieved all this without needing to pay for advertising or selling Beanie Babies in big chains like Toys R Us and Walmart. The strategy of mystery and scarcity was intentional. People became eager to cash in on the craze, with some even creating copycat versions.
These are all counterfeit Beanie Babies, and some of them are so well made.
Self-confessed superfans Leon and Sandra have a collection of over 8,000 Beanie Babies in their North Carolina home.
It got to the point where we had so many we thought, why don't we just collect them all?
Leon Schlossberg's fascination for Ty products didn't take off until the early 2000s.
Lift up your arm.
But he remembers the Midwest as the epicenter of the frenzy.
You had a dedicated group of fans, mostly based in Chicago or Wisconsin, that thought they were onto something and they started hoarding Beanie Babies.
By 1996, Forbes estimated Ty's revenue jumped to $250 million. Then came another innovation that would push demand for Beanie Babies even higher. After Trivedi pitched the idea, Warner added poems and birthdays to each animal's tag.
It was just a matter of how do we make these special and how do we make them even more collectible.
Warner liked the idea so much, he asked if she could write a poem for every animal in the collection, 86 in 3 days.
If you read the poem for Ziggy the zebra, he's a soccer referee. So then if you're trying to buy a gift for someone who plays soccer, then all of a sudden this zebra is the thing to get.
In 1997, Ty secured a deal worth over $100 million with McDonald's, featuring a new beanie spinoff, Teeny Beanie Babies.
Real Ty Beanie Babies in a mini size, to toss, tuck, or just plain love.
The promotion was supposed to last 5 weeks, but the supply of 81 million was gone in just 1.
We would go to McDonald's, we'd take turns, and we'd buy the limit, which was 5.
McDonald's estimated that 1 in every 3 Americans had a teeny beanie baby inside their house.
It got to the point where kids couldn't get them anymore. It was all part of the adult, collecting and making money.
When McDonald's repeated the promotion a year later, one employee even went to jail for stealing $6,000 worth of teeny beanies. By now, the internet was exploding. Trading on eBay was taking off, and suddenly there were millions of highly sought-after Beanie Baby toys being traded globally. Listings ranged from $5 to $12,000. Fans would obsessively surf the site for clues about the next discontinued animal that would inevitably skyrocket in value.
What you need to do is get lucky. Which ones do you think are going to retire?
Kiwi the toucan's retirement announcement increased site traffic by 3,500%.
It was mind-boggling, some of the things that we had to do to keep the site up and running.
Within the secondary market of trading between collectors, Warner was no longer in charge. In May 1997, eBay auctioned off $500 million worth of the plush toys, accounting for more than 6% of the site's total sales. Later that year, Warner released a purple bear honoring the late Princess Diana, and the combination of a limited edition with the death of a beloved princess caused mayhem. Retailers could only order 12 princess beanies each. Demand was so high, fans were paying up to $2,000 at auctions. Trade shows began cropping up across America, and collectors even began publishing Beanie Baby catalogs.
The media hype just lent more credibility to the value guides, and guess who was putting out all the value guides? People that were selling Beanie Babies for the most part.
Beanie Baby fever then spread into the sports world.
Beanie Babies over there!
In 1998, fans were lured to stadiums with giveaways from nearly 20 of the 30 Major League Baseball teams. By the end of the year, Ty's sales surpassed $1.4 billion.
He came out with this bear, which was made exclusively for Ty employees to celebrate the first year that he exceeded $1 billion in sale.
And a USA Weekend poll estimated that 64% of Americans owned at least one Beanie Baby. One divorcing couple had so many, they needed a judge to fairly split their collection, worth up to $5,000 at the time. That same year, Warner made the Forbes 400 list, with an estimated net worth of $5 billion. But it was becoming clear that the fuel driving the Beanie Babies craze was running out. Then, Warner decided on his biggest gamble yet, announcing that the production of Beanie Babies would cease on Millennium Eve.
But not before they've released a final bear named The End.
And for the first time, the retirement announcement didn't lead to inflated values in the secondary market. After teasing the end of Beanie Babies, Warner continued to put out new product lines.
They're just so famous. Why would you get rid of something that is your namesake, basically?
But by then, the plush animals had become ubiquitous, and kids were beginning to turn their attention to the next must-haves, like Furby and Pokemon. Sales declined by more than 90% in the early 2000s, forcing Warner to put his own money into Ty Inc., and by 2004, he claimed losses of more than $39 million. Suddenly, investors and collectors who had hoped to make a living out of trading plush animals found themselves with inventory that was not worth what they once paid. Then in 2009 came Beanie Boos, a modern redesigned version of its predecessor, with bigger eyes and bolder colors. But some believe it wasn't the Beanie Babies that went down in popularity. It was the interest in trading them.
We coined a new phrase as the rise and fall of the beanie gamblers, because the speculative craze just bottomed out and crashed.
Now the father-daughter duo hopes to preserve the memory of Beanie Babies for future generations by opening a museum.
I mean, they're all so cute, and
these things are cute.
They're adorable.
It used to not be proper for a guy to say this.
But it hasn't been cheap.
We've probably put in close to about $175,000.
Does that number include shipping and handling?
No, that number does not include shipping and handling.
This is an 11th spot, Lucky. Lucky the ladybug loves the lotto. Someone must win, that's her motto. But save your dimes and even a penny. Don't spend on the lotto, and you'll have many.